Hey guys, Brian here. Welcome back to the shop. Today we're working on putting the compressor back together again. Can't do a whole lot because I'm still waiting on parts. For one thing, the piston they sent me was the wrong one. They sent a high pressure piston when it was supposed to be a low pressure piston. So waiting on that to come. It won't be here until the first part of the week, along with the gasket kit and everything, but I have done some work on it. As you can see, I've painted up the main case inside and outside in addition to cleaning it all out. Got a nice primer sealer on the inside. It should keep the oil from leaking out through the cast iron if there's any porosity in it, and also help keep it from rusting up. So try to get that all painted around in there. And got a nice coat of paint here on the outside. Pretty that up. Turns out that Scott's orange is pretty much the exact same color as the Devilbiss. Painted up the spot on the tank where they torched to get a wrench in there to make it easier to take the motor on and off. So, and I've been doing a lot of cleaning. There's some stuff missing off the table over there. So it's over here. So, got the bearing end plate painted up. Got the heads all cleaned off, all the gaskets cleaned out. Clean the ports out. Clean the cylinders up. The head gasket material all off them. Smoothed up. Clean the bottom sides off of them. Got all the yuck and muck out of here. So these will be ready to go back together once I get parts for them. So the only thing I can do right now is to put the crank back together. Get that put in. I got the new bearing for it. And I've got everything cleaned up over here that goes on the crank. Got the front bearing housing cleaned up, painted inside and outside. Again, trying to keep as few places as possible for rust to form inside of it. Bound to help out. So there's the Devilbiss paint. Anyway, let's get some more bits and pieces in here and put this back together. Alright, so there's the cleaned up crankshaft. You may remember the goop that was on that to begin with. I run a drill through the holes and cleaned all the goop and stuff out of all of them. Cleaned off the ends, cleaned out these rings. They don't have any holes in them, so I think they'll be fine. I'm gonna reuse those. And there's everything else I cleaned up. Here, when I got over underneath of my good lights, which we got better lights here than I got at shop at work, I see that one of these intake valves is cracked, but this is on the low pressure side, so I don't know if that would really hurt a lot. I may see how much one of those is and get that piece, go ahead and replace it since I know it's bad. Or I may just go ahead and run it because it was still working, and I don't see where that would hurt a lot. I mean, the disc on this bottom side is pushed up against that to seal up, and it's going to cover that crack because it's to the inside, so I think it would still seal up, probably work fine, even though it's not the best. But I'll ponder on that one. I'll see what the price is anyway. So, but for now, just need to put these caps back on here and pop these bearings on. I'll bring you back. All right, so I've got the old cups on here. I got the new bearing on. Bearing on this side. So old cups on. Ready to put this into the crankcase. I ordered up 2 new sling rings. These are actually just a little bit taller than the original one. Probably 20, 30 thou, something like that. That's why you use your surface plate for setting this up. You can visibly see that difference. So that might help with oiling a little bit, because it's going to make the lip run closer to the wiper, so you would probably have less oil loss with this ring versus this ring. And these may even wear some, because I guess it does run against that face, so might be a good idea if you're overhauling one of these to replace these rings anyway. Keep you from having an oil starvation problem. But these have got to go in the crankcase first, because they're too big to go through the hole. They won't go through here, so you got to put them in like this. So put them in there like that, and then fish the crankshaft through. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'll put you down. All right, so ready to put the bearing housing on. These are some of my assembly products for an application like this. I like to use this anaerobic gasket maker on machined flanges. And as long as they're good and clean and dry, it works as a really good seal. And you don't have any bits of Permatex or anything going off, getting into your bearings. That anaerobic, it pretty much just dissolves them. So you don't have to worry about it plugging up jets or piston passages or anything like that. And since these holes are tapped all the way through, I'm gonna put some low strength Loctite on them so that that'll help seal the threads so that you won't have any oil coming out around your bolts either. So that'll make this a good tight non-leak flange. So get it glued up here and put it together and do the other side. All right, so coming right along with the reassembly. We've got the plate on, sealed up, cranks in. You can see the slinger ring that wasn't turning before. It's turning now. I assume it'll whip less once it's just dipping in oil. But for right now, it all turns pretty easy. Just rotating on its own there right now. See the slinger ring on the other end. Crank's fairly well balanced. It's got virtually no drag on these ball bearings. And wherever you put it, it'll pretty well sit there. I'd say it's not perfectly balanced from rotating it around, but I'd say it's probably plenty good enough for a 500 RPM compressor. So what I do now is wait for the rest of my parts to come and finish putting this back together. The only thing I got left to do is to put the unloader valve back on here. So well, there it is. Got the front put back on it. Got the unloader hooked up. So even dressed it up a little bit there, painted up the logo. So looking good so far. Well, I guess that's going to conclude this part of the air compressor rebuild. I'm stuck waiting on parts now, so I'm work on the building here some, do some cleaning up, as I got tubing and manifolds in to start pouring the concrete. So hoping to get on that here in the next week or two and get something poured. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, I'll catch y'all later.